In this episode of the Leadership Hustle, we are going to discuss how we make leadership way too complicated and a way we can simplify it. Hello, and welcome to the Leadership Hustle for executives whose companies are growing fast and need leaders who are ready. Hi there, and welcome back to this episode of the Leadership Hustle. I'm Andrea Fredrickson, and I'm joined with Michelle Hill. And so we are working on a lot of different frameworks of things lately and making things that we know to be true, just organizing them a little bit
put into some structure, I guess, blueprint.
Yes. We're putting some blueprints together. And so a couple weeks ago, I was working with a second level leadership group. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't the senior executives and directors. It was the first line managers is what I would call them. And we had been through 7 of 9 classes. And they have gone through delegation, and we've gone through motivation and time management and some of the, the general topics that we talk, even though we talk a lot about emotional intelligence and all of those. I asked them at the beginning of the class, I said, what are the things that leaders must do to be most effective with the people that they lead? So I put them into groups and had them, brainstorm ideas, and they were coming up with these lists of things. And as we debriefed with them, they had everything from they had to listen well, and they had to be honest, and they had to be available, and they had to have good attitudes, and we had to do, all
which are all good things.
All so good. It's like, well, at least you heard all that stuff. And
still good things.
They were doing such great work. I said, what if I told you there's only really 3 things? They're like, we have 9 sessions. Why is there only 3 things? I'm like, okay, legit.
That's a valid question.
Right? I said, okay, kind of a trick question. I said, what if there's only 3 things? So,
with 3 things to prioritize, maybe is
3 buckets.
Yeah,
is what we end up with. We have 3 buckets. So, give us the 3 buckets. We don't have to define them yet. Just give us the 3 buckets.
Clarity and expectations.
Make sure that people understand what the expectations are.
Yes.
Go into that more further.
What's the second one?
Second one is make sure people have what they need.
Yes, the resources.
To do the job. It's not just, information. It's not just a piece of equipment, but the time and all the other things that come along with that.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, it's a lot more than just the physical equipment, which people think I'm just going to give you X, but yeah.
Here's the computer, here's the machine, here's the supplies, here's the paper. I don't know, whatever it is, right?
Yes.
It's more than that.
Yes.
And the
third is?
Third is make sure you understand your impact on others.
Which the impact on others kind of takes me back a little bit to the culture audit, but I'll stay there. I'll just drop that.
Go refer to the previous episode of this.
Maybe I just thought about that. But yeah, because that impact is impacting the culture that we're creating.
So those are the 3 buckets that if you get those 3 things right, almost everything else lands inside of it. But there are books and books and books and millions of websites and context of what leaders do, right? But let's just not can we just simplify it?
Yeah, not overcomplicate it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about
clarity and expectations.
Yes.
Start with 1.
Yes. Good place to start.
Start with 1. That might be a good place. So clarity and expectations. So I think that is extremely important for lots of reasons.
Sure.
But when we think about how we are training, how we're setting up, what is the expectation? And then if we're training, what all are we, talking through and showing and so forth. But it goes really back to the core that people don't go into work to mess up. They don't go in to make mistakes. Usually there's that misunderstanding. There's something that possibly the coach, manager, person maybe didn't explain real well, didn't slow down, didn't give it enough attention, didn't talk to why it's important. They just kind of went through it very quick because they know it and they just assume you're going to pick it up just as quick as them, even though they've been doing it for, 12 years, 15, 20, whatever, and it's your first time.
Yeah.
So it's easy to have a disconnect there.
There is. So when I was then repeating this to another group just recently, the emphasis that I gave them was make sure that the person understands the expectations. And that's very different than saying make sure they heard them. Make sure you told them. Make sure
you told them is yes.
Right? It's like
yes.
No, make sure they understand. And by the way to check that is to see if they can do it. Not the question, do you understand?
Thank you. Yeah, that is do you understand?
It's just a wasted
Worse,
question.
they're going to say yes. They're not going to look stupid.
But even if
But what do they understand? I mean, that
they may believe they absolutely do understand.
Yes, and hence when they made a mistake, they made the mistake honestly
Based on what they understood.
because it's based off what they understood, and that wasn't accurate.
Yeah. So make sure that your audience, the person you're working with, understands your expectations, first and foremost.
Yes.
Okay.
Understand what it is and why.
Understand? Yeah, exactly. Okay. So step 1. Step 2 is make sure they have what they need. Let's go into all the kinds of things because people limit that.
Yes. So let's just put it its own little bucket: equipment, technology, machine, whatever that stuff is.
Tactical things.
Yes.
Yes.
It's more about the understanding, one, clarity of the expectations, but two, that they have the understanding or I don't want to call it permission necessarily, but they believe this to be true, that they can plan and prioritize, that they have an opportunity, that they need to prioritize taking time to make sure they know what they're doing today, what they have to get done, where are things at. Because that planning and prioritizing, which tends to fall in quadrant 2 of the matrix, right. People don't everyone is so rushed. They don't feel like that they can spend time there because they're putting out all these fires.
They're all hanging out in quadrant 1.
Yes.
React.
And it's given them permission to reduce interruptions. It's given them permission to take 30 minutes to not have the incoming fire so they can actually think and process. I mean, there's a lot of the little things that can help them be successful is those resources and making sure they're taking them. What did I miss on that?
So I don't know that you missed anything. There's a bucket of, make sure they have the time. So that includes the permission to say, I can do this, but not yet. I can do this under these circumstances. I can do this part of it. I have the time to do the research. And again, we're not saying they need extraordinary amounts of it. It's the time that they need. And if they're new, they're going to need a little extra time because it's going to take them time to figure it out or learn and
time to practice
and those are the kinds of things. They also need to understand the context. So when people give out directives, they delegate responsibilities without all of the context of something. And so
that's a resource.
It is a resource.
It's a huge resource.
It's not why because I said so. It's not why because I need it for the board. It's not why because this is your job. It's because when we do this, this is what happens and the impact downward, or here's where we're going with this, and this is a critical component of something in the process of what we're doing, or you are the subject matter experts and we need your input on this because you bring a special perspective. Understand the context of what's going on.
Because when they don't, then we create, if it's just simply me telling them what to do, they're not going to know how to problem solve. They're not going to know how to figure things out. They're not going to know when to act, when to actually do it again, because we're enabling them just to wait for us to tell them what to do. So just telling is not not all the resources. They've got to understand the why and the impact, everything.
Right. They may need other kinds of resources like humans. They may need other subject matter experts. They may need
to collaborate, even though they don't like to collaborate.
Oh,
yeah, that's one.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode.
Sorry.
That's a whole other episode. But make sure that they have permission. For lack of a better word, it's like, what do they need to do what they need to do? And yes, there will be an evolution to this. They will be able to take on more responsibility. Yes, they will know their permissions of what decisions they can make and what they can't make. Do they know what information that they need in order to be successful with you? What do they need to bring back to you? They need to know not just those expectations, but they need to have permission of what those resources are.
Yes.
And so I think that, those two things, people are like, oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, and I think one that I think is really beneficial to talk about is people don't necessarily view feedback as a resource, but feedback is one of your best resources. And if you talk about it up front, that we're going to have conversations, we're going to talk through how you felt about that, ideas you have, and I'm going to give you feedback on what I notice, because that is your resource to get better.
Right.
It's about changing that thought of threat, that I'm getting feedback, the big famous F word that causes fear and either fight or flight, to, oh, it's a resource to help me grow. It's a resource to help me get better.
Right.
I mean, that's another resource. But if we don't explain it, people are, however they have experienced feedback in the past, is what they're going to bring with them.
So included in giving people what they need to do the job, it's also making sure you remove the stuff out of there so they can do the job.
Which might be you.
Which may be you, which step 3, right? But it may also be there is someone in the organization that is whispering in their ears like, no, that's not how we do that. I know that's how you're trained, but we need to do it a different way. Or maybe they have someone who's actually a pretty big jerk in their communication style or their work ethic, or just what other people are giving permission to. It's like, no, that's not how we do that. So give them what they need to be successful. May include an environment that is respectful.
Yes.
It is in a place where people can do what they need to do, and they're challenged. They can get the training and the information to do the job. That's the stuff they need to do the job. And so sometimes we have to remove things to make it better.
Definitely.
Right? So the third bucket, which is making sure that you understand your impact on others. Talk a little bit about that, Michelle. Like, what does that mean for leaders? Because we bring this stuff up in every one of our classes.
Well, I mean, impact. It's the impact, how people perceive your response, how people perceive your body language, your facial expressions, your tone of voice. I mean, impact is that ripple effect.
Sure.
And are we creating a ripple effect of inclusion? Are we creating or collaboration? Or are we creating an impact of, I'm the subject matter expert and you do what I say? I mean, there's a variety of, everything we do impacts how people feel.
Right.
And are we, and I don't want to go back to like a culture audit, but are we auditing ourselves? Are we gaining perspective of through other lenses of how I behave and how that might cause people to feel, because I view myself through my intentions, right? Good, of course. But how they experience me is going to be through their lenses and how they interpret and understand my actions.
Right. And sometimes we don't even have intentions. Let's just face it, that we can have positive intentions, we can have negative intentions, and we can have I don't have an intention, I'm just. So think about the offhand comment that you make that doesn't really mean anything to you, but causes the employee that you're leading to freak out for 3 days thinking, what did I do that was I didn't even know that had an impact on you. What we do in our leadership roles is weighted heavy.
Correct.
And that weightedness, because people want to seek approval,
status,
relating, their promotion and promotability, their wages in some cases.
Correct. There's a lot.
So people are doing things and watching how we act or react, what we say, what we don't say, what we reward, what we tolerate, what we all the behaviors. And sometimes we don't even understand or recognize that an eye roll at the wrong time sends a message. And an eye roll might be, oh, I'm thinking, and it's interpreted as, oh, that was not the right thing to say, right?
Correct. Well, but I think that has intention. Your intention was, I'm thinking. I mean,
that case it was.
Yeah. But they interpreted it as not.
So recognize that what you do, what you don't do, what you say, what you don't say, when you show up, when you don't show up, when you tolerate, when you don't tolerate, All of those things are having an impact. And don't excuse those interpretations. Make sure you recognize it is what it is. And so how do we help close the gap between what your intentions are, if there are intentions, and the perception that others have? It's okay to do damage control.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I've got one client, we talk about just own your shit, apologize, and
Yes.
work on changing that, work on aligning your intentions with your actions.
And own your shit. Own it. Sorry, I don't have another word to say.
I know, there is another word. That's why I was like, I'm just going to say it.
And don't blame the other person.
Correct.
It can't be, well, I'm sorry you
I'm sorry you feel that way.
I am sorry I did that.
Yes, because it was not my intention. I'm sorry. Yes.
Right. And pay attention to that. So again, this is a fairly simple blueprint. It is look at what you have done to make sure that people understand what your expectations are. And by the way, I'm pretty sure your expectations will evolve. So make sure you keep up and they with them and they are keeping up with you.
Yes.
That sometimes we have to re-clarify or reevaluate or update. But let's get positive that they understand.
Well, and real quick on the expectations, because we're wrapping up, but expectations of how to do whatever it is they have to do, but how to behave. Because
Do and behave.
Because so many people focus on, well, the expectation of this project or task or responsibility. Yes, that is very important. We have clarity because they don't want to mess up.
Good point.
But it's also how we're treating each other, how we're behaving.
Expectations on behavior, which is part of the culture and what we are expecting. Second is make sure that people have what they need, not only the tools and the resources, but the environment, the information, the feedback, the training, all of those things that they need to be successful. And sometimes you won't know what that is. You have to go find out. Yes. You have to ask them. You have to see, what is it you need? What's getting in the way? What do I need to remove? And third is understand your impact on others. You are a leader. If you are a leader and a family member in a family-owned business, the weight of your actions are huge. The weight of your words are even greater as a family member. So understand your impact and recognize that you're not just one of them, right? You're not just one of the folks. We are all human, but when you have titles, you get elevated and expectations are higher of you because of that. So recognize that. If this blueprint sounds like something that would be helpful for you, or if there are things where you believe you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode.